Update. Am I the asshole for trying to help my daughter lose weight? Here is the original story. First of all, I wanted to thank everyone for their support. I hope you all took that walk. Anyway, we did end up sending Susan to her grandparents, but only for 2 weeks. During that time, my wife and I got to really talk and air out our feelings. My wife told me that as a child, she was a very large, nearly morbidity obese by the time she was 14, and her parents gave her a terrible time about this. Forced her to diet, would lock her out the house to force her to exercise, tell her PE teacher to make her run extra laps, and locked up food so she couldn't eat. It is something she doesn't like to talk about. I had no idea this had happened to her. She was in tears and explained that she thought I might do the same things to Susan. I know my wife is big, but again, I didn't marry her for her looks. I married her 'cause I love her. She's a wonderful wife and mother. Like all of us, she just let her insecurities get the better of her. This is why she freaked out when I started getting Susan to go running with me. Anyway, after our talk, we agreed that we can do all of this as a family. I bought some bikes for us, downloaded family exercise videos, family mealtime, healthy shopping together, and now she is joining us on our runs. Don't worry, Susan and I slow it down to a jog so she can keep up. I just wish she had opened up sooner about this. At least it is out in the open now. A lot of people in the comments said I sounded like the perfect dad for what I did with Susan. I'm not perfect. I just know what it's like to not have a father. My dad decided when I was 2 that he didn't want to be a dad anymore. He packed up and left in the middle of the night, leaving just me and Mom. Never heard from him again. He didn't call, write, or even send child support. I have no idea where he is now, and I don't care to know. My mom worked 2 jobs to support us, we moved 6 times, and it was tough. I had plenty of men in my life as role models, but at the end of the day, I didn't have a dad. I told myself that if I got to be a dad, I would be the dad I would want. Be the dad I wished my dad had been to me. I see a lot of myself in Susan. That is why I want her to know that no matter what, I love her. That is why I adopted her. That is why I don't call her my stepdaughter 'cause she's my daughter. She is my little girl, and I want her to know that she is always loved and can come to be about anything. Kids have it hard enough these days. I want her to know that when things get hard, we can go for a walk and just talk about it. I have enjoyed my time on Reddit. You are all good people, and I hope you'll take time out for a walk sometimes. Feel free to message me if you want to talk. Goodbye and take care. And #X200B. PS, edit. Guys, I find my wife attractive. When I said I didn't marry her for looks, I mean there is so much more to her than her looks. My wife could look like Jabba the Hutt and I will still love her. She is a wonderful woman who is working on a degree. She's my friend who hates my cheesy movies but watches them with me. She's a wonderful mom who would go to hell and back for our daughter. She cooks the best beef stew, and I love how she dances while she vacuums the rug. I love her laugh, her smile, the way she does her hair. I love so much about my wife, and I could really go on all day about this. I didn't just marry her for her looks. I married her 'cause she is so much more. Your update made me cry. I am an adoptee, and I was always told I was a duty and a burden. I was born out of wedlock and adopted in family. So glad it all worked out, wink wink. You sound like an incredible dad, and it's so good that you and your wife are communicating better. Good luck with your family fitness fun times. I think you'd be great for this sub-op dad for a minute. I thought this was something to do with your wife's past. Her parents were cruel to her. I really think therapy would be a big help for her. You keep doing what you do, being an amazing dad and husband. I know my wife is big, but again, I didn't marry her for her looks. You didn't say this to her, did you? Like, this whole post is very sweet, but this is a bad thing to say, ya know? I feel like you should find your wife attractive, but I'm built different. I love seeing a happy update. Hell yeah. You're an awesome dad, and an awesome husband. I didn't marry her for her looks. I'm not always the best with women, but I've learned something like that is never to be said and will bite you in the ass in the future. So glad your wife was able to confront her issues. Having a supportive husband to open up to must have helped. It's great that you guys are working on things together. Hope you all enjoy the rest of the summer outside having fun. Honestly, you truly have inspired me. I'm a 15F who just started my freshman year, and I was lazy during all of quarantine and summer and just laid down in my room playing games and eating junk food. I'm entirely out of shape, and I'm glad I read this post and the other one. Being the way you are to your daughter actually inspired me to start going out on walks, and I'm planning on asking my stepdad to come with me. I'm glad you worked things out with your wife and she opened up to you about what happened when she was young. I hope you have a great day. Am I the asshole for telling my ex-coworker's employer the reason why she was ostracized at the company? This story actually takes place over multiple years. So here goes. Also, English isn't my first language, so I apologize for my poor language skills in advance. A little background. I work in corporate hour. My company has a very generous maternity leave policy. It gives you 26 paid weeks off plus gives you the option of taking a month or so more if you have extra sick or personal leaves left. Or else you can take unpaid leave for the same time. So part of my responsibilities is to make recommendations for selecting employees for specific projects. So a couple of years ago, there was a huge project that needed a team to be created for. Being part of a project like this would normally establish your career in this industry. You could basically decide your own career path on the back of the reputation you get based on a project like this. It would be hectic and difficult, but worth it in the end. We interviewed prospective people within the company and selected a core team that would take it up. Among this team was M, a recently married female who is generally thought to be a hard worker and quite knowledgeable. Like with everyone else, we interviewed her for the spot and asked her if she wanted to be part of this project. However, a month or so, M announces that she was pregnant and that she would be taking her maternity leave in a month's time. She would be completely unavailable for around 7 months or so and basically leave the team short-staffed for the major part of the project. We had to quickly select a replacement, get them up to speed, and have them take over. It meant more work for everyone, minor delays, etc. What pissed off the top management was that M knew she was pregnant when she joined the team. She never mentioned it during the interview. By not telling anyone in advance, everyone felt that she couldn't be trusted in the future. She basically became a pariah and no team lead wanted her in any critical projects. Within a year, M realized she progressed much in her career in this particular company and left for another job. Fast forward a little while and I was talking with the HR guy from the company M had joined and he asked me about her. And I told him the truth. Both that she was a good worker and is dedicated, but that is not really honest or trustworthy. I told him the story in detail. Now this has basically meant that M gets a similar treatment in the new company. She is considered a good employee and team player, but no one wants to select her for any critical projects. Some of my friends say that telling the HR guy about the incident makes an $1. It has gotten me to feel a bit guilty and I wasn't sure what the right move should have been. So Reddit, what do you think? Am I the asshole? P.S. Please feel free to ask for more information if you need it, but no details of the industry or company. For security and privacy reasons. Edit 1. Just to be clear, M knew she was pregnant when she was being considered for the project. She wanted to be in the project so didn't disclose it. Her team had to stretch themselves thin to make it up. Our company as a general rule has no issues with women taking time off for pregnancy. Even beyond the policy mandated time. The most I've come across is a woman getting 15 months off. She came back to work and faced no repercussions. I should have mentioned this before, but HR guy was formally asking me about M. It wasn't like I was talking about her at the pub. You are the asshole. Laws may be different where you are, you haven't set a location, but in America what you did would have been not only an asshole move but an illegal one. We have laws to protect workers against that kind of bullshit. You had absolutely no business whatsoever having that conversation. 100% you are the asshole. She didn't have to tell you she was pregnant when interviewing for a project. What you did was ethically wrong. As someone in HR, you should have known better than to do that. If you are in the US, she can sue for this. You are the asshole. A huge one. No woman is required to disclose her pregnancy, and in fact it is illegal to ask in interviews in some places. If it was a man you never would have done this, and your company wouldn't have blacklisted her. You and your company are misogynistic. Punishing a woman for having a child and then ruining her future opportunities? Get over yourself. Not the asshole. You mention in a comment that she admitted to knowing she was pregnant and wouldn't be there for 80% of the project but didn't tell anyone because she wanted it on her resume. In that case she definitely isn't a team player and admitted to it as well. Hi. I have a genuine question for all of the "you are the asshole" responses. I'm a woman and while reading this I thought he wasn't the asshole. I don't know much about HR work so that could be it, but could someone explain it to me? I am aware that you can't have someone miss work opportunities because they're pregnant, but she missed basically the entire project. It feels pretty unfair to me that she knew she would miss probably 90% of a massive project and didn't tell anyone. Can someone help me out? Also, I understand how he's the asshole for telling the new HR guy a few years later, but I don't understand how he was originally. I'm probably going to be downvoted for this, but not the asshole. They asked your opinion and you were honest. She was dishonest in the recruitment process and caused stress for the team. You are the asshole. M may have learned her lesson from what she did at your company. You basically made sure her bad decision followed her and gave her no second chance. You have no way of knowing she would do it again, but took it upon yourself to tell the story around and ruin her chances in a place that didn't concern you. Not the asshole. You may get beat up over the whole pregnancy as private thing, but it's like anything else. If you know you can't complete a project for any reason and hide it, you don't deserve a reputation as someone who can be trusted. Am I the asshole for telling my sister she can't tell me who I can sleep with because she's older? My sister, 23 female, is obsessed with my sex life. Though I am asexual and a virgin, she's convinced otherwise. My then friend, now BF, 18 male, and I, 18 female, have been friends for about 4 years. I met him when I lived with my grandmother but moved away to live with my mom. We finally decided to meet up when I found that I would be visiting my sister for a few days. They live in the same state. I first let my mom know that I would be visiting my friend while I was there. She said that sounds cool and fun. Then I let my sister know that one of the days I'd be there, I would be visiting my friend. This did not go well. She told me it made her uncomfortable that I would want to go to his house to hang out. The day came where I would be going to my friend's house. I told this to my sister and she then said, "Did I forget what she said?" implying she was not allowing me to go. I told her I did not forget, but I am an adult now, I am allowed to visit my friends. Back home I didn't even tell my mom I was going to my friend's house to visit unless I was sleeping over, so my sister telling me I had to ask her was weird for me. I was there for maybe 30 minutes and my sister called me. She started screaming asking me where I was. I told her I was there and she said I did not let her know. But she called me before I got in my car to go and I told her that's where I was going. After that his siblings, 4 female and 5 male, came down to join us. I thought they were cute and they sat with us on the couch. The couch got kind of snug with 4 people on it, so I moved my legs to his lap, no big deal. After I took a progress picture of the blanket I was working on and sent it to my sister. She freaked out and asked why I was sitting like that and I told her because the couch had limited space. She texted me I had to leave and that I couldn't have sex with him. I told her she was insane. I wasn't planning on it, and I wouldn't even do that, especially with kids in the house, and he was my friend at the time. I even sent the picture to my mother and she said nothing about it. She got mad and told me I had to leave soon because it was getting dark. It was barely 7 p.m. I told her 8 and she said whatever. I was upset she ruined my visit for the most part. As soon as 8 came my sister was pacing back and forth outside of my friend's house waiting for me to leave. It was embarrassing. When I got to her house she sat me down and told me she doesn't think I am ready for an adult relationship and that I am not ready to have sex. I told her it doesn't matter what she thinks and he's just my friend. She then said if I want to have sex I have to ask her first and tell her who it's with, and then she told me viable candidates of my other friends that are guys I could sleep with and date, just not this friend. Edit. My sister does not know my friend or his family. This is the only guy friend I have that lives out of state and my sister has only lived there for 2 years for college. And I don't think she was talking to my then 16-year-old friend when she got there, he's the oldest. Also my mom and I have transparency when it comes to relationships, general friends, and she's like my best friend and never freaks out, but when I tried that with my sister, this. Am I the asshole for telling my sister she can't tell me who I can sleep with and date just because she's older? Not the asshole. She's your sister, not your parent. Woo boy. WTF is wrong with your sister? She has no right to treat you in this way. Sounds like she has control issues and may want to see a psychiatrist. Maybe ask your mom if there is something going on that you aren't aware of. Her behavior is seriously worrying. 100% not the asshole. Live your life up as you see fit and how you feel comfortable. What the fuck, everything about this is insane. Not the asshole. You are an adult and can do whatever the fuck you want. Your sister is being completely unreasonable and totally inappropriate. Not the asshole. I'm sorry, but when did your sister turn into your second mother? I'd understand if she was more asking for where you were going, when to expect you home, etc. Safety precautions are always in style. But she obviously didn't listen to anything you said. It might be a good idea to sit down together, when no one is heated, and have a discussion over the situation using, I feel, felt, statements. She may have had a bad experience you don't know about that's causing this strong of a reaction, and she doesn't know of any other way to warn you. At the end of the day, it is your body. And you can choose whose lap you want your feet to dangle on, romantic or otherwise. She sounds absurdly unhinged. If a family member did that to me, I'd not be associating with them until they could show me a modicum of respect. Not the asshole. I would say not the asshole. The way your sister talks about him sounds like she has information on him or something, especially since gave you others friends you could date. Is it possible that she knows something you don't, or maybe she likes him? Even if she does, she's being an asshole not telling you. If she knows something, and it is your relationship not hers, so she can't control whatever you choose to do in said relationship. Hope everything works out okay with you and BF. Not the asshole. Your sister's attitude seems odd. She may just be a nosy and prude person, but is it possible that she has some sort of sex-related trauma? Have you talked about why she gets so edgy around the idea of you having sex? I just think her behavior is worrisome. Has she always been this overprotective of you? Stop telling your sister anything. She beyond inappropriate. She asks where you are going, out, is an answer. Who with, friends? What time, when you'll be back, at some point, not the asshole. Am I the asshole for calling out my coworker for humiliating me for asking a question? Backstory about this company. We build complex electrical locks, and asking for guidance and clarification is one of the most important things as a newcomer. Everyone encourages it and are happy to help. Yesterday I was talking with this older female coworker, let's call her Kay, about my attempt to find a new apartment. She mentioned some places to avoid due to possible bedbugs. She of course used my native language word for bedbug, which I didn't recognize at that moment. I asked her what was a bedbug in my language, again? And the rest of the convo went like this. Kay. Wait, you really don't know what that word means? Me. I can't recall. Is it a bug or something? Kay. Have you been living under a rock this whole time? How can you not know this? Me. I reveal my ignorance about this subject and you start humiliating me because of it? You could just enlighten me rather than act like this. Kay. But it's so obvious. Me. Just because it's obvious to you doesn't mean it's for everyone. I'm 100% sure I know a word you don't even know exists. Kay. I bet you do. If you really don't know, then go figure it out. Me. I am figuring it out through you since you obviously know what it means. She explained the word and I told her that I knew exactly what it refers to in English, but had forgotten it in our native language. We then talked about bedbugs for like 3 minutes. When that convo ended, I went back to call her out on her behavior. Me. I asked you an innocent question, revealed my ignorance of the subject, and you chose to humiliate me for it. Behavior like this can really negatively affect people. If this happens numerous times to someone, then they will stop asking questions out of fear of getting humiliated. You've said you wonder why some newcomers have a tough time asking for guidance, and this could be the reason. They've been called dumb for asking, and now it affects them at work too. That makes you a hypocrite for doing just that. You have publicly praised me before for never being afraid to ask stuff about our work and why we do things. Even stuff I need to ask multiple times because I keep forgetting. And now you chose to humiliate me? Then I left for lunch. During that monologue she didn't say anything. I thought that was it. Today when I tried to continue our talk about apartment hunting, she just said, "Thank you, my name, but I don't care." With no emotion. That's when I realized that she is actually pissed at me. We talk almost every day about subjects outside of work. She got mad at me for humiliating me? Now she acts like she doesn't hear me. My question didn't have anything to do with work, but she stepped on a subject really important to me. The importance of asking questions out of curiosity. Too many people have their curiosity beaten out of them at a young age. I bet a lot of people can relate to getting teased or straight up humiliated for being simply curious. So am I the asshole? Edit. I want to point out that the reason for the monologue was to call out her behavior. It wasn't about my question anymore at that point. No one should be mocked for asking innocent questions. Edit 2. I also never blamed her for anything. The conversation I wrote might make it seem like I suggested she actively does this to newcomers, which was not my intent. She's not that kind of person. Yes, she was a bit of an for teasing you for not knowing a word. But you were also an for your monologue and making a big deal about her not immediately explaining what a word, that you already kinda knew, meant. It wasn't a work issue, it was just a mild translation issue and you kinda made a mountain of a molehill as it were. Based on your monologue, it's not surprising she's pissed at you. It was rude and unnecessary, and I would say don't expect that friendship back. Everyone sucks here. Yes, she shouldn't have done that, but you had already called her out for it during the conversation. The best time to do it. Your subsequent monologue was unnecessary and far too lengthy, hence she doesn't care anymore. You berated her for humiliating you about a non-work related topic and then tied it to the work you're doing so you could berate her. Now you want to go back to talking about non-work related topics again? Not going to happen. She's not your friend anymore. Just stick to work topics. Changed a word. I'm leaning not the asshole because she did continue to tease you, which was entirely unnecessary. She just had to tell you, but she mocked you instead. I'd be stoked she's ignoring you, frankly. She can't make fun of you for needing a simple answer. Everyone sucks here. The monologue was unnecessary. Hero speeches don't play out well in real life. A lecture that long is too much. 2 brief sentences would have been enough. When you go on and on about something then people get angry. You are the asshole for not understanding basic interpersonal colleague relationship rules. Asshole is way too strong a word, but I'd say it was an easily foreseeable response from your colleague. It's wild that a misunderstood word was taken this far. She should have just told you, and you shouldn't have straight up monologued over it. Everyone sucks here. The speech was wildly unnecessary. You also lost a friend, a work ally, and someone who will vouch for you in the future. You destroyed a relationship with a senior colleague. You may have to work with, or for, this person in the future. You may need her help, or her recommendation for a promotion. Welp, you can throw that in the garbage because you wanted to tell her off.